Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my friends. This is John Hoppy. You're listening to the Wrestling Fans Insight Sunday Takedown. We are going to be going over Money in the Bank results, a little bit of AEW's Collision, some of the Money in the Bank post show, as well as we will be going over NXT Heatwave predictions for tonight's PLE event. I am joined by my brother William. How you doing?
Fabulous. How are you?
I am just so peaky, so happy to be back doing this with all you favorite people of mine, plus Carlos. So, and we also have Carlos with us. How you doing, my brother?
I'm fucking vacation. I see how it is. I'm great.
Wow. A great way for him to start off. That's unusual for him to drop the F-bomb right away. So
not really.
Well, that's true. At least not on air. But we also have Stampede with us, our friend from up north. How you doing today, Davey?
Seeing as how we're covering the Money in the Bank, I'm going to go with the word of the day: stupendous.
Oh wow! Hey,
Yeah.
That sounded authentic.
Man, I'm starting to sense some buildup here in the room today.
So. I'm going to have to hold back about 80% of my opinion. So I don't want us getting in trouble.
Yeah, I won't. So we're good there.
I can see this is going to be a fun hour for us here today. So. But anyways, I'm glad every one of you are joining us. Thank you to all of you who are watching live, whether it's through X. We're live on X, both through the Wrestling Fans Insight Pod account and Carlos's account. We're also live on our YouTube. You can find us there at WF Insight Pod, and also on Twitch at the Fans of Pro Wrestling. We're also streaming through the YouTube on our main site, thefansofprowrestling.com. So be sure to check us out there if you're having issues with the others. But hey, let's get right into it. Let's start off with the Money in the Bank. Why don't we just go ahead and, if I dare, before we start talking match results, let's kind of get our reviews. Let's start with you, William.
Okay, I'm going to make this about as short and sweet as I possibly can. I feel like this was 20 steps back to gain 1 inch forward to give a rub that didn't need to be given, just to keep some relevancy going on things that already existed. It was pointless to me. And I think, honestly, the fans really kind of lost out because of the money they paid to see this, and it should have been better.
All right. Carlos?
I'm going to sum it up like this, and this is their mentality right now, because I talked about this over and over. Roman Reigns, ultra babyface equals nothing else matters to them. Period. To get to means to the end of them being right, having him over as an ultra babyface, even though he's only a part timer. Everything else is just capital carnage. Doesn't matter.
Davey, do I dare ask?
The only thing they seem to have done right last night, or at least a competent level, was having Tiffany Stratton win.
And the women stole the show absolutely last night.
Yeah, but beyond that, I don't know what they were doing and how they structured this show, but someone should be taken out to the woodshed.
Yeah, I didn't know Drew McIntyre suffered from CTE, but apparently he does. So.
Well,
don't even get me started on that. That was a complete
waste. We're like all of us are that emoji, that all of us are that GIF right now with that little cartoon character with the fist propping up,
Oh dear, I can see this is gonna be a long day. So, anyways, I didn't think the card. I think the card was definitely a little underwhelming. I do agree. The women did definitely do the outperforming, despite half of the IWC pointing out that there was, one spot after another. But here's the thing. I thought the women did a fantastic job. I think definitely the one that shined the most was Chelsea Green going off the top of the ladder through the couple of tables. much like she did in Impact a couple of years back, I believe it was. And, you know, it was almost believable she was about to win that until Tiffany Stratton got up there. And
If nothing else, she's extremely dedicated to
Yeah.
her character, and you got to respect that.
well, and here's the thing that I also want to give kudos to Chelsea Green being very interactive on the platforms too, with all the people making the post about her fall off the ladder on the tables. She's taking that like a true champ and interacting well with the fans. So I definitely give her the flowers right there for. Um, but overall, the women definitely stole it. There were a few things here and there definitely could have made it a lot better, but I also kind of don't want to be that guy that points them out because one, I've never been an in-ring performer or a referee or any of that and been
Yep.
involved. But you know,
You also don't know the circumstances.
exactly. We will get to that a little bit later after we go through the results. Which, Carlos, did you were trying to say something just before I went off on my tangent?
On a positive note, as for someone who had to work last night and had to come home and watch 5 hours of content, all the ad breaks and the 20-minute entrances made it very easy to fast forward through stuff and get through it in a timely manner. So I do thank them for that. So if you were working last night, you were very happy with how the show was played.
And go Davy's opinion on the time management.
So basically, you made money last night.
Yeah, I made money, got to work, still got home, got to watch Money in the Bank and Collision, and got to go home and got to go to bed at my usual time. It was great.
That's awesome.
But on that point, I've been in favor of these shorter pay-per-views that they do.
But make it like I know you're gonna go make it in the ring. Don't yeah.
Right. The reason being is that's how they were playing out up until last night.
Oh my
Right?
God, it was a joke.
It was they're shorter pay-per-views. They usually come in right around the 3-hour mark, a little bit over maybe. But you took out all of that filler that you would normally get on the longer pay-per-views, right? Your 4-hour ones. You're getting a lot of it on there. They did a lot of it last night. Like you got 42% of your show in the ring. 42.
They got that much? I'm shocked.
Yeah. Like that's like I don't know what they're doing there. Like that's just way off the mark, man. That's like
and that's just if you're
feel bad for the people, paying to see this. And
for me, I personally like the trust. Like again, like they can't. They are using up every last drop of goodwill they have right now because they're the hottest ticket in town, and people are excited to go. But for me, the trust has been broken. I couldn't shell out that kind of money to go see them live because I don't want to. I'm not gonna. It's like I said in our chats where people were dogging on, and I'm like, it plays well for a TV product, something I'm gonna watch on TV for free or for $5 or whatever Peacock is a month, like. If for that kind of deal, it plays well. But to go see live, you're not. No, I'm sorry, you're not getting my money.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move on.
Yeah.
Let's get to the results real quick. For the men's Money in the Bank, as it opened, Drew McIntyre ends up winning the briefcase over LA Knight, Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, and Chad Gable. If I was to go by Davy's 10-star rating, I think this one, fair enough to say, about 7 at best for me. Will?
5.
Carlos?
I don't know what to say. Like again, I wanted to be wrong on this one, but I was right with Drew winning. It's just again, Jey Uso's he's gonna get sucked into the Roman vortex. It's just sad to me. I'll give it a 6.5.
All right, and Davey?
I'll probably go with Carlos on the rating. Drew winning, there was no reason for Drew to win this. Whatever they did in that main event could have been accomplished in this match. All they had to do was get Drew up on the ladder, have Punk show up, tip the ladder over, put him through a table. He's done. He's out. Have him within inches of the briefcase, and he took it from him again. That way you're not screwing up who's holding the briefcase. Right? Like it was just complete. I don't know why they did that. It's stupid.
I do think it goes into the thing that with this regime is that they do have more long-term storytelling going in, Bomb. But at the same time, if you're going to have an event like Money in the Bank, then when you have your storytelling, you need a plan for this. Like if anything, you should have had Gunther win this, and then King of the Ring should have been for the title. Just this has to play into your storytelling. It can't just be you can't just blow it off and leave it. Like in the future, they got to do better than this.
But that was done to get over a storyline that is already massively over.
Correct,
Without even having a match yet. Like,
but it's also, but I think it's also about the fact that they already have their next champions all planned out, and so they don't need anybody having the briefcase either, because they already got their outline of who's going to be their next champions for the next couple of years.
We do have a couple of comments from Mike B TV on the X app, and we'll get to one of your comments when we get a little bit later to that point of the card. Says Carmelo Hayes oversells. I don't know. I think he does a better job selling than anything, but I don't know.
Look at it. Look at who his teacher is, Shawn Michaels. I mean,
right.
Somebody just leave it at that.
Carmelo is fine with what he's doing. Like, he's a really good talent. He's athletically gifted. He's good in the ring. You know, he has indie experience coming in, so he has that to drop on. I don't have any issues with Carmelo.
I can see the point. I can see his point, but at the same time, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point to knowing when it's really exaggerated, but I don't think there was really any exaggeration last night. I mean, especially if you've seen a lot of the welts on some of the talent. So,
unless
do we know that Zoe Stark's still alive? Has anyone heard about her?
Yeah, there was no injuries reported from.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Awesome. We'll get to that a little later.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next match. This is the one I think shocked everybody and their dog. I think Heather said she was the only one that actually pulled for Sammy, but she didn't get her predictions in. So sorry, Heather. But for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn successfully retains over Braun Breaker. Every one of us that were participating yesterday on the show predicted Braun Breaker, and a lot of the IWC has lost their shit because they felt, what was the point of booking him as indestructible and then you have him take a loss? I don't think he looked bad taking the loss. I mean, it was just for some, it might just be a titch early being up on the main roster. I wouldn't have felt bad either way. Davey, what's your reaction to this?
I don't necessarily have a problem with it because it'll just kind of extend that story a bit. Braun will get his moment, like he will get the title. I just don't like how they did it. Like Sammy should have got that win by the skin of his teeth. Like he should have had a
like
much
a roll up
harder
or something,
time.
yeah.
Much harder time beating him, and he had to do it like something clever, the wily veteran beating the hot young upstart. So I think that they missed it there, but I don't have a problem with Sammy winning in that sense.
Carlos? Sorry.
Just make Braun, and me and Carlos go back and forth on this quite a bit, but like an AEW match, right? If you beat someone, you worked to get it. You worked your ass off to beat that guy. Right? They should have did it more in that vein. Like Sammy would have had to really, really work his ass off to beat him.
Carlos?
For me, like it's just I don't like when you consider like how there's only 5 matches on this card. Like now, again, I know Sammy's a hometown guy, but why did this match need to be on the card? Like again, like if you're not gonna have Braun, I go on both. I'm like on both sides. Like why? I don't see anything wrong with when NXT talent comes up with them losing because again, you're going from the developmental brand to the main brand, so I think it's okay to lose. But then when you look at all the guys that they just had Braun, like they had Braun Breaker go through and kind of like, use them as glorified enhancement talent. Like, what was it for if at the end he was just going to lose to Sammy? That's the part of me that I have a problem with it. But again, I don't think this match wasn't needed. And that's the problem I have issue with it. I don't have an issue with, like I said, I don't have an issue with NXT talent losing when they come to the main roster because, again, you're going from developmental to the main roster. But I have an issue with why was this match even on the card then.
And Braun is the epitome of developmental because he is in fact still developing, right?
Correct.
Still learning, right?
William?
Hi. I have no problem with Braun losing whatsoever because of the fact that we all know he's just flat out future gold. The only problem I really have is I think they're stuck in a kind of a weird situation with Sammy where he's been busted down the mid card when we know he's better than that. So I think they're just kind of lost as to where to go with him right now, and it's a bad situation.
All right. Why don't we move on to the next match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, originally to be Damian Priest defending against Seth freaking Rollins. But as we all saw, and if you haven't saw, sorry, spoiler alert, Drew McIntyre ends up cashing in when both men have pretty much drained the hell out of each other, with an unfortunate thing just before Drew came out. Many know what I'm referring to. So it ended up being Damian Priest defeating Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins in a triple threat, thanks to the cash in. Carlos, why don't we get your reaction first?
Dumpster fire. To me, like it makes Drew, like I said, this Drew FCT. To me, like Drew should have came out. Why would you go in a triple threat match where you don't have to lose, where you don't have to be pinned to lose? To me, if you're gonna have cash in, it should have just been done at the end of the match after whoever won. But it's because they want to protect Seth. But again, it's just pointless. It's like, and then also Drew should have known Punk was coming out. I mean, come on. I mean, that's the one thing. If he would have been looking for Punk more, would have been like cautious of like looking for him. But it's just like they made Drew look like a complete fucking idiot, and yeah, dumpster fire. That's
All right, now that Carlos needs a hug, Davey, let's go ahead and get your reaction.
This match was an insult to dumpster fires everywhere. Like this was fucking bad, man.
yeah.
Like there was no reason for Drew to have that briefcase. They made Damian look like, again, this is the second time
Yeah,
they've done
the
this,
God,
like
it's the
an
weak-ass champion.
afterthought and just background noise in his own title defense. Couldn't even kick out at a fucking 2 count. He never even moved. Like nothing about this was good. Nothing was good. Like all the further along the story that's already over, right? And you make Drew look like an idiot again. Right? Oh, and
WWE way.
he's suspended too, by the way, indefinitely. Hopefully, this lasts longer than when he quit, which was all 4 days.
Drew suspended?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For the Nick for the thing with them. What's his face? Okay.
For striking Adam Pearce with an elbow at that post show.
So probably expect him back Friday then, probably.
It depends if he coughed up his fine, right?
True enough. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Like Kramer bringing in the change here, Adam.
William?
To my original point at the start of this show, this was the focal point of where we shit on 3 matches in total. Many opportunities that could have come out of it. We took 20 steps back to gain 1 inch forward. That's what I think of this shit.
Yeah. It definitely didn't make sense to go this route. I think you would have been better off putting that or having somebody else win the briefcase. I mean, this just
I would have gone.
I get trying to intensify the heat a little more between Punk and Drew.
Yeah,
for their feud.
I would have gone with Yeet or LA Knight. Those two would have made sense.
I think the direction for LA Knight is to win the United States Championship from Paul right now.
It is, but we could have made it really interesting had he had that.
Well,
or even Carmelo, even Carmelo with he can, if you're gonna have an ancestral cash in, just use it to elevate somebody throughout the year. Like it was a waste of a thing. Like Davey said, like I know we both it's already over, but they got it. Oh, we gotta just do one little thing. No, it's everybody wants to see this feud already. It did not need this.
And just to one point on LA Knight, if he had the briefcase and he's pointed in Logan Paul's direction, he would have to cash in, right? So in order to cash in, the person that you're doing it to has to have a what? A match. Logan doesn't really have those. It's defended twice since he's won it. So that would be a little wrinkle there. Going forward.
Right.
Yeah, you would have to get the other guy actually in the ring to do that.
I want to go to a comment from Mike BTV. As I mentioned earlier, I tweeted before Money in the Bank that I predicted Drew McIntyre would win the Money in the Bank match, cash it in after Damian Priest beats Seth Rollins and wins it back. It didn't quite shake out that way, but I was close. So my question is, am I that good, or was that what every fan was expecting? And I'll let you guys answer that one.
I think a lot of people were expecting Jey Uso just because of how over he is. But once again, you know, he's very, very over just with a catchphrase. So does he really need a briefcase?
But that, and honestly, that's the reason. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you know, and do you see him as a world champion? Like one of the two belts that they had for that? I don't. You know, from what I've seen from him as a singles guy so far. So.
And the reason why oh, sorry.
Then I was just gonna say, like, because there's nobody else in that. You weren't going to give it to Andrade. Like the guy has a speed title, literally. Like you're not giving it to him. LA Knight wouldn't make sense because you'd have to cash in on Logan. Logan doesn't really have matches. So Carmelo would have been the guy. Like if they were going to pivot, because like Carlos said, it gives you a year to build. You know, we see this guy as important. You should be paying attention to him. The briefcase would do that. It would draw eyes to him, right? And then you've got a year to build him up to get him to that point of being believable to cash in on one of your top titles. But they didn't.
The thing reason I didn't see Jay winning, and it's funny, and this is how they are, is I knew that Tippy was going to be calling it Tippy in the Bank or Tippy time, and I just know that they don't want to have two people carrying briefcases with like catchphrases on them, and so like right there I'm like, oh, Jay's not going to get it because they're not going to do Yeet in the Bank and do Tippy time or Tippy in the Bank at the same time, because that's how they are. To Mike's question, I think with them, with WWE, they want big feuds that don't revolve around a title, and I think that's what they have with Drew and Drew and Punk. And so I never saw Drew winning it because the match doesn't need a title, and so I think with them it's like I never really saw Drew carrying that title because I don't think right now that the feud needs it.
No, it doesn't, and it didn't
need this added on either. Yeah,
right. It doesn't need what they did last night either.
Yeah,
that
correct.
was unnecessary. Speaking of Jey Uso, he's fighting Chad Gable tomorrow on Raw, so I don't know what they're doing
Oh, dear God.
No.
there. It's not the reaction. I don't think that was the reaction they were going
Oh,
for.
guess the Y6 is coming out. I'll bet my house on it, or not even my house, my grandma's house, and everything I own.
But they do have some matches announced for tomorrow. Four of them actually.
All right, let's move on to the women's Money in the Bank.
Please do.
As we mentioned earlier, it's Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton grabs the case by defeating Io Sky, Naomi, Chelsea Green, Zoe Stark, and Lyra Valkyria. William, let's start with you.
Few little wobbles, but you know what? Absolutely the best match of the night. I loved everything about this. The person that I think the vast majority of us in our group predicted took it.
Yeah, thanks for rubbing that in.
Well, I mean,
Io Sky.
the way things have been going, it was kind of obvious. But
Io Sky.
Hey, I could only hope. God damn it!
I have to agree with Davey that it probably should have been Valkyria, but right now it really is just time. Valkyria's already had some pop. Let's get Tiffany going on the pop on the main roster as well.
I said this yesterday, and maybe I have to bite my words a little bit. It seems like every time I watch Lyra, maybe my ears are just deceiving me, but it just didn't sound like she was getting a lot of the fan support. But then listening to the Canadian crowd, you know, I started hearing the cheers go more and more, and so
it's always going to be different when they're out of country, though.
That's true. I just don't feel like she's gotten the great support from the U.S. crowd, except for when she was in NXT. So
no, we've as Americans, we've kind of failed as super fans.
Yeah, we do.
But she has aura to her. She does have aura. Like there's something. There is. I see what they see in her. Like there is something about her. Like she commands presence.
No, I agree with that. I just think, I just feel like the fans
She's getting the poop end of the stick, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I feel like she could draw a better reaction than what she's getting from, especially the U.S. fans. But let's move on to Carlos for his reaction.
I thought it was great. For me, like when it comes to Money in the Bank, I want to see heels carry the briefcases most of the time. I think he just plays to the character. I thought again. I think Tiffany's the right choice because again, to me, there's not many top faces on the Raw roster, so she's naturally going to get that title shot. I think Tiffany being a sneaky heel plays more to her character. But also for me, like it was the match of the night. When I'm watching this, I think like I'm thinking to myself, man, they messed up by not doing Women in the Money Bank sooner. But then you remember they didn't have the talent. Arguably, did they really have the talent to pull it off like this? I rather see them doing the kind of stuff they were doing last night and having a couple botches than not trying to perform and outshine. So to me, the couple little mistakes come with the kind of things they're doing. But I just thought it was very entertaining. And the thing you could just tell is that they have more. The talent has more input now than when Vince was there because you could just see a lot of things that I bet Naomi's been wanting to do that move for years, and Vince probably always downed it. And you could just tell the difference of a Triple H regime versus a Vince McMahon regime.
Davey?
Definitely match of the night. Mind you, that's a low bar to get over on this particular pay-per-view. The right person won, just given the brand that she's on and what's going on Raw, because that title seems to be kind of tied up at the moment with Liv and Rhea. Tiffany will match up quite well with when she wins that title with Charlotte, which is going to happen, guaranteed, when Charlotte comes back. You're gonna see that feud. Io looked quite good in this. Chelsea looked really good. Lyra, everybody looked good in the match. Even Zoe. Zoe had a couple of rough little bumps there. To speak on the Lyra thing, where I am the resident Canadian here, you're bang on with that. We would view her differently than fans in the States. We up here we seem to like characters that are a little more grounded in reality, as opposed to ones that are really, really over the top. Right? Lyra has that. Like when Lyra speaks, I kind of believe her. Like she seems real. Right? So we kind of like that stuff more. It's just I don't know why. It's just a thing. But Lyra's a future champion in that company. Guaranteed.
Well,
just not yet.
Well, to your point, that I think that's the point. Is it's different, and I think sometimes different fan bases just don't. They sometimes struggle with difference, if you know what I mean.
Yes, they do.
And it's really hard. But and yesterday I kind of felt bad because I felt like it was like, in a way, it kind of seemed like I took a crap on Lyra, but it wasn't meaning to come out like that. It just because I've liked her work ever since she's come into the NXT scene and making to the main roster. I just feel like she's kind of a little more underappreciated by a certain fan base.
I think part of that too is it's more frequent for us in the States to be able to see these shows.
Right.
Whereas when it goes out of country, they're getting something they may not be able to get, each week.
Zoe Stark, same thing, right? If you listen to Zoe speak and how she does promos and how she comes off, how she looks and how she presents herself, she comes off as more real. Like she's not perfect on promos, and I don't expect anybody to be, right? But she's more of a grounded character. She's not that over the top, larger than life, that's prevalent in that particular promotion, right? So she kind of suffers from that too.
Right. And she actually used to wrestle here in the independent promotion here in Utah. That's no longer around. But when I watched her here, I was always amazed by her in-ring work and her promos. And
she's very, very, very talented.
She is.
She is, right?
But for whatever reason, you don't see the fan base really reacting much to her, which is kind of scary because it's like,
well, part of that is the amount of time. If you look at Raw and SmackDown, right, there's not a lot of ring time on those shows. So if you're not getting yourself over in the ring, you got to get yourself over somewhere else.
Right.
Like you're getting about 33% on average over the last month in ring between SmackDown and Raw. That's what they average, right, per week. That's not a lot of time. So that's part of the problem too, right? If they could get her in the ring more and show people and say, listen, this is what she can do. This is what you should be watching for.
Right. And sometimes the in-ring skill can
It takes a
kind of
back
get
seat.
it over than the promo.
But I think with Lyra Valkyrie too, she's lost by Nassau, you know, and I feel like that's a lot of it too. Like she came out of nowhere because Becky, she's Irish and Becky, and so like they had a sisterhood, and Becky gave her a chance, and Becky wanted to put her over. So I think she just like we were just expected out of nowhere to like care about her, where it was like before we were getting a slow build for her, and just like I think with the main roster too, like she's been put in the spotlight because they don't really have any other faces on that brand. And so she's being asked to carry a lot where she isn't given the chance to just naturally grow on you. She's being thrown into the spotlight, if that makes sense.
It does.
And I think she might have caught a little bit of the backlash that Becky was getting because for some reason people seem to think that Becky is booking herself into these title rings.
Becky Hogan, yeah, she's not. She's
like,
putting people over.
She's not. She's just doing what the booker is telling her to do.
Yeah.
So Lyra might have got a little backlash from that.
All right. We're going to move on to the main event of the night, and we're kind of running a little past our time on the table here, but we're going to probably go into overtime today, so bear with us.
So I started cooking, so I'm in the kitchen right now, so we're good.
Anyways,
multitasking.
If you smell what the Carlos is cooking,
it's cooking.
Yeah.
There we go.
That could be scary sometimes, but for the for the main event of last night's Money in the Bank PLE, it was the 6-man tag, the Bloodline defeating the Team of the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, the Apex Predator, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. William, let's go ahead and start with your reaction on this.
Nothing major. Everything went down exactly as I expected it to go. We're back to that slow Bloodline feud burn again.
All right, Davey.
Can everyone do a quick check and see if they know where their nuts are? Because Tangaloa apparently does not know. How do you miss twice? You hit Kevin Owens in the ass, and then you hit your partner in the head. Right? Like, I don't know.
Leave Camacho alone.
I mean, that part was not good. I get why they did what they did. Like, this is building to Solo and Cody at SummerSlam. So they got that right? But someone got to teach Solo Sikoa how to deliver an Asian spike, because it's not delivered to the chest, it's delivered to the neck area, and put a little more oomph into it. So when Cody is lying on the canvas, looking literally dead, it would make a little more sense. So that's my take on that one.
Carlos.
This match was trash. It wasn't very exciting. It was more about the entrances and the fan singing than anything else. Cody should have went through more than just one Samoan spike. I mean, I think I've seen other guys take 5 and kick out, but yet the world champion only has to take 1. Again, I revert back to my previous comment. Face Roman, fuck everything. Your face Roman, everything else is capital carnage. And I feel bad for Cody.
Oh, Cody's going to get obliterated when Roman comes back. As far as
and they better not turn heel. Like, that's my thing too. They're gonna be tempted to turn, because don't turn your biggest baby, or right now your biggest baby face heel for somebody who's only going to be around for 10 shows a year, or a couple months a year. Stupid.
All right.
That's all.
Well, I'll end the segment on a positive note. I do think it made sense to have the Bloodline go over and get that momentum going to lead, hopefully, to a Bloodline versus Bloodline for War Games. Not sure if that'll be enough time for the build. I would think it would be by now, but I'm sure come SummerSlam we'll start to see a lot of the OG Bloodline come into play.
Who could you see the old school OG?
Who
could you see as their fourth?
I would have to say they would probably look to Sammy.
Or Hikuleo.
or
The other
or
brother.
or Hikulea, yeah. Shit, why not bring Haku back? No, I'm just kidding. He would have to be with his boys.
That background noise must be California.
Must be Carlos.
Hey.
Oh,
It's gonna be. They're gonna bring in Seth, and they're gonna be the Shield bloodline.
or bring back Mox for one off.
Yeah.
Right?
The super group, super friends.
Oh dear. No, I honestly, it could be anybody at this point, but I think right now, if you were playing the cards as it is, it would more than likely probably be Sammy, but who knows? So, with that being said and done, we're going to end it with the Money in the Bank. We were going to try to talk a little bit about the post show, but I think we're going to skip that today.
You might as well.
I'll do a short segment on that tomorrow by myself. So just kind of keeping an ear out for the platforms, as this will be on the platforms just shortly after we finish the live today. Thanks again for joining us on the X app, YouTube, Twitch, or looking on our website. Appreciate y'all coming. But let's move on to our next big topic for the day. We're going to let Davey kind of take the reins on this one. This is mostly going over AEW Collision last night, which aired just shortly after Money in the Bank. But Davey, why don't you give us kind of your review of how things went with Collision?
Well, we started out with a little recap, just the Garcia, Osprey, MJF, Daddy Magic stuff that went on Dynamite. Then MJF kicks off the show with a very, very good promo. He touched on a lot of stuff, and he tied a lot of stuff in that dated back till August of 2023 when he was holding the belt. For those that remember, that would be his ADD promo, where he said, the kids were throwing quarters at him and that there. Right? So he tied that all into when he started opening up to the fans. Right? I'm going to show you a bit of myself. Right? Let them in. Turn that all around on them, dating right back to the Samoa Joe match at World's End. Basically, he said, I opened up to you people. You turned your back on me. You didn't give a damn. I broke my body for you, and how do you repay me? At World's End, you chanted, thank you, Joe. So he tied this all in as to why he turned. Right? Very much pointed him towards Osprey at Wembley. So that is going to be happening. That one there. He made sure to include Daniel Garcia, so that's not forgotten about. Basically called Garcia, you're a Make-A-Wish kid at best. That's brutal little line there, but that'll get Garcia back into that mix when he's ready to go. Daddy Magic did a little backstage promo, and he said when Daniel Garcia comes back, it's not Danny you're getting, it's Red Death. So that's going to add another little wrinkle to Daniel, right? For those that remember when he wrestled under that little persona. Another thing to keep an eye on there is Christian, as always. It's always interesting. Kip Sabian did a little backstage segment with him. Said to Christian, my father just passed away. We all know Christian, that's his stick, right? You no longer have your dad. So there's something going on there with Kip. So I would have no problem with Kip joining the patriarchy. Severely underused talent. Like he's really good in the ring. He's great on the mic. Got a good look. So I would be all for that. Cut a little promo on Jay, a little retort of last week's promo. Basically said Jay's exit strategy is the Owen. You've been treading water since you get here, and maybe you getting hooked up with Christian, the fans will get the switchblade they thought they were getting when you signed here. So that was another really good dig. Right? House of Black did a pre-tape promo, just letting Christian know that they haven't forgotten about him. So they're still tying that in. So House of Black is still going to be in that mix for the trios with the Bang Bang Gang and the Patriarchy. Then your main event. The matches on this show, none of them were like top tier stuff. They were just matches. But the main event was a match. Hangman and
mid.
What, the main event? No, main event.
No, the matches in between.
Oh, the matches in between. Yeah, the matches in between were nothing special. No, but like I said, the main event was. for those spoiler alerts, so if you don't want to hear this, cover your ears. Hangman did win, but it was with the help of Christian. Christian came in and speared Jay White. So that ties in that feud, right? So you want to insult me, I'll screw you over. You're not getting in that final. So that tied that in. Jeff Jarrett also came out. That played out a little bit later because Jeff Jarrett went backstage and he said, I want to be the special enforcer for this match on Wednesday, so it's done right. And then he tied into Owen and Owen's character and all that. So there's no BCC at ringside. There's no Elite at ringside. It's just going to be Danielson, and it's going to be Hangman, and it's going to be Jarrett, making sure that nobody else interferes in that match. Jarrett, not so much. You can't trust Jeff Jarrett. Right? You never could. So I'm thinking what happens here is he's going to cost Hangman that match, and that's going to splinter off into a little feud. And then you're going to get your Danielson swerve. I think that's how they get there. But like Carlos said earlier, it was a very story-driven episode. Right? Like I said, the matches weren't the focal point of this one. The stories were. And Christian was a very big focal point of that whole thing, as was Max.
So I challenge. Just sorry, real quick. So I challenge you guys. Challenge you guys who say they don't do storytelling. Go watch that show. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and there was a little mystery vignette of someone jumping through a portal. It's not Ricochet. I don't think. I think that's Sammy that they're bringing back with a little repackaging, which would be needed. Sammy's been running the same character essentially since he got there, and it hasn't really worked to any great extent. So
wasn't it a masked wrestler? Weren't they wearing a mask?
Yep. Yeah, in the vignette. Yeah. So I don't know, but my guess is Sammy. But I mean, that's just a guess. I was going through the other free agents that are out there, and none of them really match up. I don't think it's Ricochet though.
No, it's Prince Puma.
Yeah, well, yeah, if they go that route, but stay tuned. It's coming soon, they said, so it won't be that long. Won't be that long. But Ricochet, I think as far as a pay-per-view, the first thing you would see him on would be the one in Chicago, because he's from Chicago, which is All Out. So that's 2 weeks after All In. But yeah, it was a good episode. But they got a lot done. It was very storyline driven.
So William just looked like.
Well, I noticed it when I watched. Davey, have you heard any follow up on Riho's wrist?
She is injured. No, I haven't heard as to how long she's been out. That's an undetermined amount of time.
Oh, that's crappy.
So that's
the Serena Deeb angle.
Well, that's two now that happened with Serena, because she was supposed to get a program with Yuka Sakazaki. She got hurt, so they had to pivot to Rio. Now Rio's hurt, so they're gonna have to pivot again. So see where that goes. But yeah, Rio is hurt.
Oh dear,
it was a pretty bad landing if you didn't see it.
No, unfortunately, I was watching some of the disaster on the post show last night from Money in the Bank. But
yeah, no, she went over the top and she basically broke her fall with her wrist.
She's a little too light to break her fall with the wrist. But
there's something going on there with Lady Frost too. Watch her, because she's been getting a lot of TV time lately, and she's on quite the losing streak. So they're doing something there.
Yeah, she's in my top 5.
She needs to start winning. Damn it, I'm getting tired.
Yeah, they're doing something with her. They use her on TV to put everybody else over. Just like her and Trisha Dora both.
She's really fluid in the ring. She got a good look. She's up there. She's about 39. She's not a spring chicken, but you can still get a good little run out of her. So I think that's where they're headed. I just don't know exactly where yet.
I hope to be wrong. I think the issues are to put people over.
All right. Well, thank you for the update on Collision and the review there, Davey. We're going to go ahead and move on to NXT Heatwave PLE scheduled tonight. We had to do a lot of double checking because apparently there was a few people upset that apparently the timing was not right for some. Some didn't even make it till an hour after the event started. And
Denise Salcido?
Yeah, she goes, what the hell? This started an hour earlier than what it said. And, I think I thumped a few people there. So, but yeah, definitely tonight kickoff starts at I believe it was 6 p.m. Eastern, and then the main card starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. So roughly you get about 50-minute of promo time there for the kickoff, and maybe 25 minutes there in the main card. I shouldn't say that because I'm really not trying to be negative, but
Then 1.5 hours of ads.
yeah, that's the thing that drives me nuts is I pay the premium Peacock price and we're dealing with ads. It's like I might as well just go back to the ads with Peacock. So
And in the words of Booker T, sucker.
yeah, sucker. But anyways, let's what are we looking at? Oh, yeah, that's pretty good viewership for us right now. We're at 203 viewers live, and thank you for all of you joining us, mostly on the X and also on the YouTube channel.
You're welcome.
Oh, wow.
Actually, no, a good chunk of it is thanks to Carlos. So
Yeah, held up the fort while we were gone.
yeah, but no, that's good.
And just say to anyone out there listening on our X accounts, we appreciate all of you guys. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, especially commenting because before you used to not be able to comment on X when we first started, but X apparently found the way to make it work, and I appreciate them. Unlike Facebook, thank you, Facebook, for screwing us over. But anyways, let's go ahead and get on to the NXT Heatwave card. We're going to start off with the kickoff match that was announced. We have the weird team of Ariana Grace and Carmen Petrovich taking on JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. William, since NXT is your big thing and you usually get most of them right, let's go ahead and start with you on this match.
Okay. I'm definitely going with Carmen Petrovich and Ariana Grace. Both of these women, I like. I do find Ariana a little bit annoying, but I also found her father a little bit annoying. So
How dare you?
look, the secondary Sacco crap. No, stop it.
You know what? I'm gonna pull Cobra out and just whack you.
Go for it.
Okay.
No, it's just right timing, and Carmen is definitely an amazing talent. I want to see her go further. She just definitely needs more in-ring time.
All right, Carlos.
Team Canada.
Team Canada. Which one's that?
Really?
Davey?
No, that's Carmen and
Yeah.
Ariana. bro.
I know. I'm being a smart ass.
I'm a team unto myself.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Davey.
The same thing. Like, I really like Carmen Petrovic. She's a really good talent. She's really good in the ring. She's got a good look to her. I would hope, and like we said there, get her in the ring more. I want to get her in the ring over Marigold for a bit. Get her in with those people, right? She'll fit there. She'll work. Ariana Grace gets on my nerves. Sorry. She does. Same thing, right? It's just not for me. But I do see them going over tonight, yeah.
Apparently, there is a Canadian version of you, Will.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with intelligence, buddy.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. Lots of room up here too. Move up.
Actually, I wouldn't mind going there.
Lots of room. We got lots
Dude,
of
they would both fit fishing and hunting. They fit in there like a glove, dude.
Oh
You
yeah.
just gotta watch.
Well,
You just gotta watch out for the Bigfoot. Other than that, you'd be fine.
I think I would like to take the challenge of ice road trucking. Honestly,
No.
Well, I didn't say you; it would be me.
Yeah, no.
Anyways, our colleague Brian the Hype Ballard, he went along with you guys with Ariana Grace and Carmen Petrovic. I like my heels. I'm sorry. I had to go with my strong suit. I'm going with JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. Chances are I'm probably going to be wrong on it anyways.
I know why that was confusing when I showed you that.
Why is that?
I did it up and down instead of side.
Oh, anyway, and for those of you listening, if you want to give your picks, please feel free to throw them there in the comments. We'll write them down too. Let's move on to the what Carlos and I felt like was probably going to be the next match for the NXT Women's North American Championship. The champion Kalani Jordan defending against Sol Ruka. And let's start with Carlos on his reaction for this match or his thoughts.
I'm gonna go on a wild thing here. I'm gonna predict that we get that because at first I thought Saruka, but I'm gonna predict that Kalani Jordan retains and she turns heel.
Oh, interesting. Davey?
Yeah, Kalani should win this. She's too early in her reign to be dropping it. But Solruka is another one of those talents, much like Petrovic. Get her in the ring more and do a little stint with her over in Marigold. Same thing. Follow that path. You'd be better off if you did. Better product.
Our colleague Brian the Hype Ballard also went with Kalani Jordan retaining. William?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Kalani, but I'm going with Soul.
Interesting. I also like Davey. I think it's a little early to take that championship off Kalani, but I have seen weirder things happen here.
Yeah, Trick had his for what, 1 day?
Well, was it 1 day?
I think so.
I thought it was a week.
Might have been a week, but it wasn't very long.
No, it wasn't.
It was 2 days. It was from Saturday to Tuesday.
Oh,
There
it
you
was
go.
2 days? Okay.
Yeah, because he got it on a. Didn't he get it on a PLE?
Yeah, it was 3 days. You got on a PLE or 2 days, 2 or 3 days. It was on a PLE and you lost at the next NXT match.
Yeah.
NXT show.
Yeah. So, well, and I think almost the next shortest would have been like Tony Storm or no, Rhea Ripley with the NXT UK Women's Championship. But no, I really think Kalani Jordan ends up winning this with a possible heel turn as well. So who knows? Could be anything there. We're going to move on to what we feel match number 3 for the NXT Tag Team Championship. The champions Nathan Fraser and Axiom will be defending against Chase University. This one I kind of kept flip-flopping on because I couldn't make a final decision, but I went with having brand new champions on this. I think Chase U picks up the victory and dethrones it, especially with some of the little bit of the conflict with Nathan Fraser and Axiom lately. So who knows? Maybe this is where we see Nathan and Axiom start breaking off. William, your thoughts?
I want to see that exact same thing too. I want to see them start shooting forward towards their individuals. I did pick Chase U. I think they should hold it and not have to go through being tag champs again in NXT until they move up. And that's what it is.
All right. Carlos?
I'm flip flopping too, but I'm gonna stick with Axiom and Nathan Fraser retain because Chase U's already been tag team champions. I don't think they get another ring.
All right. Interesting. Brian the Hype Ballard, he went with Chase U becoming the new tag champs. And Davey, let's get yours.
Chase U, because they are never, ever, ever going away. Ever. This will lead eventually to the Axiom Nathan Fraser split, which is going to be a good little high energy feud. Hopefully they book that where both of them look good coming out of it. But they're a really good solid tag team. I like them as a tag team. But I think they do drop the belts.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to match number 4. What we feel will be match number 4 of the night for the NXT North American Championship. Champion Obafemi will defend against Wesley. For me, I think Wesley's already held that title enough between his 2 reigns. I just don't really see a sense to needing to have a third reign, although it would probably make history. I believe he'd be the first 3-time NXT North American champion. That could go in the direction of what they're wanting to do is break the records, but I just don't see it. I think Obafemi's been a real dominant figure holding that championship right now. So I'm going to say Obafemi retains. Let's go to Davey for his thoughts.
Oh yeah, Oba's retaining here. Like he has everything they could possibly want in a wrestler for that promotion, in any promotion actually. So they'll keep pushing him very much so. Got to get him in the ring a little bit more. But this will be your match of the night. I don't see how it's not.
All right. Brian the Hype Ballard, he's going with Obafemi retaining as well. Carlos, let's get your pick.
Oh, but Femi, he's not losing that title until he's strapping up to the NXT title.
Okay, William.
You know, I have to be that thorn in that side. I'm going with Wesley.
All right, isn't just the fact that he's breaking the record, or
Not only that, I do feel like Obafemi has done well enough that he can start maybe focusing on going further.
all right.
He does need more ring time and more development, but I do think he, at this point, is able to go further.
And so far, he's the only one that's cashed in his breakout star contract for a championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's making a big statement right there with the guy. Definitely doing a lot better than, Heather's favorite Omos. So,
Yeah. Yeah, there's no question. There's no question to Oba's dominance, and that's my reasoning.
All right. Let's go into match number 5 for the NXT Women's Championship. This one will be a really interesting one to watch for sure. Roxanne Perez will be defending her NXT Women's title against Lola Vice. Davey, let's start with your thoughts.
Well, Roxanne will win this just due to who she has coming up next, which is Julia. So I don't think the outcome is in doubt. The match should deliver. Two very good talents. Just please, after Tuesday, don't give either one of them a microphone for the match. Just let them go out and wrestle, because that promo Tuesday was harsh. Not good. But Roxanne will win this. Oh, just a note on Julia. I don't expect her tonight in any shape or form, and in a physical presence at that pay-per-view. She won't be there.
Yeah, I have to agree that that promo was terrible Tuesday night. I'm not sure where it was trying to lead, but it was definitely not in favor for them.
No, didn't do them any favors.
No, it really didn't. In fact, I was disappointed that they didn't go all Spanish like they promised, but
I almost fast forwarded it through.
yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't have that option with my Hulu, so but
It's like one of those Final Destination movies, though. It's like, okay, I should probably fast forward this, but I still want to hear it because that kind of interesting.
Yeah. So I'm in agreement with Davey. I think Roxanne Perez retains this, although Lola Vice has made some really great in-ring work. I just don't think now's the time to put that championship on her until she works a little more. Carlos?
You guys stole my jokes, damn it. Yeah, even though I was really moved by Little Vice. But no, yeah, definitely Roxanne's retaining this title.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead, William. I'll announce Brian's after yours.
All right. Yeah, I'm going with Perez. The same reasons as the rest of you said, but also Lola's just not ready yet. She's not got the acting down. She's only got 3 or 4 good moves. I'm not trying to be harsh to her. She just needs more development.
And like I said, she's been very well recognized from her MMA days transferring into the wrestling. The only thing I don't agree with is the comment she made Tuesday night that she's the best to transfer from MMA to wrestling.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry. Shayna Baszler holds
holds that for sure.
Yeah. And I'm always going to continue to voice my frustration with where they have Baszler at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
I think the only thing that holds her back with whoever it is that's booking is her promo skills. That's about it.
I think Baszler and Gable are in the same damn boat.
Yeah, but Gable's promo work isn't that bad.
No, it's not. And he still gets screwed.
Yeah. I mean, but anyway.
Gable could have been another Kurt Angle in that company.
Exactly.
And they didn't do that.
No.
I don't know why.
In fact, Canada was doing him a favor by doing the "you suck" during his entrance,
Well, yeah, we laid it out for you. It's like, this is who we're connecting this guy with. So, like, draw that. It's a straight line, right? Kurt Angle, Chad Gable. Like the crowd is telling you they're making that connection. They just didn't go there. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat on that. So it's a head scratcher. Unfortunately, our colleague Brian,
It's okay. It's
Brian,
okay.
Brian, you and I are going to have a little talk here on this. Well, Brian chose Lola Vice, and who knows?
Brian is confirmed as an ass man.
Brian is definitely the twerk watcher for sure.
Aye.
Yeah, we're gonna have a talk, Brian. That's just gonna be the case. But who knows? Brian might be the genius out of all of us, where he gets this one right.
Well, because again, remember, NXT is a side chick, so he probably might have just been going off the ass. You never know.
Well, that's true. It is his booty call, as he said many a times on Tap Out Talk, and be sure to go check out his Tap Out Talk too, as he's already done his Money in the Bank review there. So, we'll go on now to what we definitely should be the main event. The NXT Championship, the Fatal 4-Way, the champion Trick Williams defending against Shawn Spears, All Ego Ethan Page, and I know I'm going to pronounce his first name wrong. Is it Javon or Javon? Javon Williams. William, since NXT's your deal, I'm going to let you have the start of the final call here.
I believe this is going to be the main event. This is going to be a killer match. Just taking a look at the talent of everybody that's involved with it. It's just, I think they're going to perform extremely well. I do not think that it's Ethan Page's time just yet. I think there needs to be a little more feud work and a little more substance. So I am going with Trick.
All right. And well, you got somebody along the ride with you, Brian the Hype Ballard. He's also going with Trick. So far, that's 2 for Trick. Carlos, who do you have?
Come on. I mean, Titus sits in the game. I'm a game man. I mean, come on. Ethan Page. I mean, I think I'm gonna to go on a limb. I think maybe we get some kind of alliance with maybe like an AEW alliance with Shawn Spears and Ethan Page, because remember, Trick doesn't have to be pinned in this match. So I think that Shawn Spears is in this match to take the pin, and I think there's gonna be shenanigans. I think Ethan Page is gonna pin Shawn Spears to win this title.
All right. And just before we go to Davey, we got a comment from Video Game Gooner 58 from our YouTube channel. Hey guys, love the show. Thank you for joining us, Video Game Gooner. We appreciate it. Hope you're able to join us here in the future as we keep doing more and more with our live shows. Davey, who do you have winning this?
Well, I figure as a thank you for his I now work for a machine comment and for the mysterious disappearance of his YouTube channel, I think they're going to reward Ethan Page with the title this evening. New champion.
Yeah, even though I'm not quite the gay man, you know, I kind of feel maybe it is time to maybe try to get some fresh scenery with the belt. I mean, I know Trick hasn't really had the championship that long, but
They haven't also done a lot with it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he's not making that championship hot, we need to find a way to make it hot. And I think if you put it on somebody like All Ego Ethan Page right now, that would be the best move, especially with how good and widely wanted he was when he was with AEW and Ring of Honor. I feel they definitely dropped the ball with the guy, especially when he was with Scorpio Sky. I mean, that should have been like tag team championship material right there. They just really lost him. And so I think this would be kind of a good wake up call to AEW also to kind of get things sparked up. But I think if they're smart, they put it on Ethan Page tonight. But again, I'm not behind the scenes, so what would I know?
Ethan is he's a more experienced wrestler. He's a more well-rounded wrestler than Trick. Right?
Definitely.
So, and it would put Trick back in kind of chase mode because you can't, like Trick has a lot of promise and you got a lot of potential, but you can't run a world, a title program primarily off of an entrance catchphrase, which is his big thing right now. They have to round him out more.
I think it'd be
putting him in chase mode would do that. It would put a different dynamic into him.
I think it'd be interesting to put him and Javon together to go tag title.
Yeah. Or even just a little faction.
If you look at like what they did with both Braun Breaker and Trick, like they took the titles off both those guys to just make sure that even though Trick got himself already over, the reason he's in this position is because he got over. Like it's their way to like take a title.
There went again.
We lost
Carlos. Yeah, but Carlos is right. Like if they haven't really done much with him since he's won it, right? So, you flip the script a little bit. It's like, okay, we're going to have you in chase mode. We're going to send you after these guys who might just have a little faction going with the former AEW guys, right? Because there's enough of them there to do it now. You got Spears, you got Lexus King, you got Ethan Page. So there's three. And then, like Carlos said, put Trick over with Javon. That's an easy connection to make. Now you just need the third guy, right? Wesley, maybe. That's another one, right? Your NXT originals against, the incoming board.
Yeah, because you put Lexus King up exactly. Yep.
Yeah, so that's a way to do it. In a faction, you're going to
get them all over.
Well, it gets them all over, and it gets three of them on TV for each group at the same time, right? So you're getting
and they're big, and
for everybody.
You can tell they're big on Lexus King too. They seem to get him in the right spot, and that would be a good spot for him. And they already foreshadowed it by putting them all on TV together with Cody.
I don't see it, but I'm glad someone there does. But everybody else in that group, I very much say, yeah. Like Spears was a very underrated hire. He's really good, like especially backstage in his mind for what he does, character work, promos. Really good hire.
All right. Well, as we're going to start trying to wrap things up here, we kind of got into a little bit of the overtime mode, which that's okay. We haven't done that for quite some time.
It's not horribly overtime.
But anyways, why don't we round up some final thoughts here for tonight's card? Will, do you have any predictions for surprises or anything?
Not for surprises. You know me as far as NXT goes. I'm always really up on them. WWE, Raw and SmackDown, get your shit together. AEW, you're heading in the right direction. Just keep on pushing.
Carlos?
I'm just excited for them. I think they got probably over 10,000 fans now tonight. Again, I like seeing that with NXT. I wish they would tour more. I'm really excited. I'm just happy for the talent that they get to perform tonight in front of a crowd that's gonna give them the energy and stuff like that. And I'm excited to watch this when I get home from work.
Davey?
I got one. There was talk of, nothing is confirmed on this yet. It's just talk, but a woman's IC and US title rumors in WWE. Fightful, they did speak with talent. They've heard of the possibility, and they're very hopeful that it would happen. Other staff they spoke to were also excited about the possibility. Do you think this would work on the main roster, given the lack of in-ring time there is with Raw and SmackDown?
I'll let you start.
All right. Double-edged sword here. I think it could be a great thing. I think they could pull it, but they've got to make sure that they keep the focus from tearing other storylines and other things going on, with women's tag and women's heavyweight championship things going on. They just need to keep it separated.
Yeah, they would have to get them in. They would have to get them in the ring. They just can't use them as props.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's the danger there. If they did it right, though, I'd be all for it.
Oh yeah,
like it just we get more women involved in storylines that are going on week to week if they do it right.
Carlos, your thoughts?
If they do it as one champion that goes between both brands. It's funny because I was thinking about this. They need to even do this for the men, because I feel like the Intercontinental and US title are almost like main titles now. Like we need, I'm all for having secondary championships if they're gonna book it right, and if it's gonna keep them give him ring time, then I'm all for it.
I would have run them as like a TV title.
Yeah.
Because that is defended on TV. You have to.
And make it something like put it on Raw and make it something you have to defend every week. If you got 3 hours of TV time to take up, let's use it.
Exactly, yeah. Like this title has to be defended on a week-to-week basis on at least one of the shows. So something like that would work. But to the best of my knowledge, there's never been a TV title in WWE or WWF. I don't ever remember one being there.
No, I don't think there ever has been.
WCW had one. I know that. Like New Japan has one. I know that. TNA kind of with that digital media that essentially functions as that type of title.
Right. Well, back in the WCW days, I remember they had that stipulation: if it's a televised match for the TV championship, you had to win it within the first 10 minutes of the match. But if it went past the 10 minutes, you didn't win. I would like to see something like that brought back.
Yeah. New Japan does that. It's 15-minute time limits. You can't beat the champion. If you can't beat the champion in 15 minutes, he retains.
Well, and the thing I also like about New Japan, where they're different, is you can also win a championship outside the ring on a count out or a disqualification. You know, that's something I've always liked about their culture of wrestling. It's much different than definitely from ours. And I would love to see something a little more with that, maybe with even AEW or TNA, you know, get something that makes you stand out a little more.
New Japan does a lot of different things. Like 20 count out.
Yeah.
I know that's another different. You couldn't do that on Ring of Honor does it, but AEW doesn't. But they're two separate entities, right?
Right.
Well, kind of, not really. Like New Japan's cage matches are different. Right? If you ever look at them, they're completely different structure to them at all. They go around the outside of the ring, like where the mats would be. They're outside of that, so the ring is literally inside of that. So that makes it stand out too. So you're right, they do a lot of things different with the same kind of premises that it's over in North America.
As far as seeing the possibility of the women's IC and US championship, I'm all for it as long as they don't do the 24/7 title.
Thank you for saying it. I've been holding back.
But
don't do that.
But you need to definitely make those championships relevant. If you make them another prop, like what AEW's done with the Trios Championship.
Yeah, no consolation prize.
You know,
I think a happy solution would be just make the North American Championship among all 3 brands. I think that'd be fun.
Well, the Trios Championships are in a major storyline at the moment. But more comparable would be the Women's Tag Team Champions.
Right.
Like they're not really presented as
exactly
the best. Right?
Yeah, I would almost. I don't want to say I want to do away with that, but if you're going to go that route, make the Women's Tag Team Championships relevant.
Yeah,
you know,
you have enough women on that roster to build a division. It's easy. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
You just have to, put time and effort into it. Is the problem.
Exactly. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap it up here for today's episode. Again, thank you for each and every one of you that's joined us live on X app, on YouTube, as well as Twitch, or checking out our YouTube channel that's on the front page there of our site. As I will bring it up here again, check it out at the www.thefansofprowrestling.com. We are going to be working on some newer aspects for the website here very shortly. Hopefully we'll be doing some more rankings and top 10 lists as our data guy Davey Stampede here has done. He really does amazing job doing top 25 lists almost on a weekly, if not daily basis.
Updated as it happens. So depending on what happens this evening, people will be moving up or down.
Yeah, he is our Alex Marvez at thefansofprowrestling.com. So
and no Carlos. Brian Cage has not cracked the top 25
No,
as of yet.
ever.
Great. Carlos just blew out our speakers. Thanks, Davey.
All right, guys, we gotta wrap this up. I gotta jump in the shower. You ready for it?
Go ahead and take off. Go ahead and follow us on the X. You can follow me at WF Insight Pod, William.
At William Hoppy 8.
And you can check out Heather, who will hopefully be with us as soon as her medical troubles are done. Bama Girl _4_ Eva, Bama Girl Forever, Roll Tide Bitches. Carlos had to roll out, so I'll just give you his handle at C to the LOS 77, or follow his nonprofit at Conquer the No. Brian the Hype Ballard at the Brian Adkins, and Stampede.
At David Robert, so DAVID ROBER 7174. Stampede Sports Select. Give us a follow. We will follow back.
And I vouch for Davey there. So, and also a big shout out to each and every one of you. You know who you are that retweet and follow us, and also gives us a shout out on your shows. You know who you are. Sorry, we just don't have the time to do it right now. But with that said, please go out and enjoy the PLE tonight. And we will be back again during the week for some of our X spaces as Carlos and Davey host them. Be sure to check out their X accounts. Yeah, without any further ado, we're going to call it good. Thank you, everyone. Be good to each other.